The biggest news in the world, instead, that nobody has talked about because I don't know, something had to be hid, I think, uh, is this one. Let me block it here. What you see right now is three states, three nations, which are the biggest landmass with the most resources nation, Russia, the second largest economy and the third largest country in the world, with the second largest population, China. The first country for population, 1,000,000,004, I think, and with an emerging economy, which is now at the fifth or sixth place, India, all together in one room in a meeting of the BRICS 2 weeks ago. Now, you would say, well, that's fine. BRICS has existed up until now, and BRICS literally mean Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So three of them are here. The fourth one is Brazil was also there. It's just not in this frame. But then what is the issue here? Well, the issue is that it seems to be that India has aligned with the Eurasian bloc. Let's call it like this. This is bad, to say the least, for the Western world where I'm living. It's bad. I understand them, but it's bad on our side. And this is showing that America has pushed the limit to its reach. And now there is only gonna get worse from here. You see, I do believe that we are in a path to war. What do I mean by that? Is that whenever you are in the path of war, you cannot really go off the path. You just know that the war is going to happen at the end of that path. You just don't know when. Could be now, could be in 10 years, could be in 50 years, could be in 20. You just are in a path to war. Could be a devastating war, could be a minor war, could be a proxy war. You still don't know. You just are in the path of war. Usually in this path, alliances are decided. So we know for a fact that NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So it's Europe and some new addition that Europe, well, the US has made in the past 20 years, and the US and Canada. NATO plays a key role of alliances between the members. If one member is attacked, then the others jump to defend that NATO member. That's good because an alliance means a lot of things. It's a very well established alliance, NATO as well. So it will work if somebody attacks, for example, Poland, then a lot of European nation and well, all of the European nation under NATO and the USA will go to war with them. What we are seeing here is the same. You just don't know yet. China had always a border dispute with India. The Russo-Ukrainian war pushed Putin closer and closer to China. And Putin, even though yeah, Adolf Hitler again always used the same person to, match these despots with, but Putin, which is not stupid, understood that at that point the relationship between them, so Russians and the West, is over. It's done. It's over. And he took that step on purpose, I think, just to show that Russia can be independent. And since again he's smart, he allied himself with the closest friend that they could find, and at that point was China, which already Russia realized it was an emerging power, an emerging world superpower, so it tried to be as close as possible since already 20 years. He always was also very pragmatic and understood that the West probably didn't have the best intentions of Russia or the best interest of Russia at hand. And also, probably the West and especially the United States hoped that Russia crashed in 1,000 pieces, especially after the Soviet collapse. That didn't happen. Russia invaded Ukraine to gain territory back, and this pushed Russia closer and closer to China. China instead has very good motives to be also allied with Russia. First of all, they both share the idea that the United States are done and they need to be done with. And they have passed, so Russia has lost a Cold War very recently, so they hate the United States for that reason. But Russia had that century of shame by the hands of the West that happened up until the Second World War. So their two interests kind of are based through the hatred of the West. But China had not good relationship with India. They had a border dispute, and Putin managed to put those two places together. And what you see here is an alliance in the making between the three largest countries in the world. As I said, the biggest landmass and most resources. Two of the biggest countries by population, 1.5 billion and 1.5 billion, all in one room. This is half of the planet in three nations. And probably 30% of the resources of the entire world. This is a lot of firepower that also the United States, even though the military of the United States can deal with all of them combined, has to deal with. And they know this. These alliances might be the defining alliances for future conflicts and future alignments. And the problem here is that India has just shifted to the others. And this is all the fault of the West. India is a nation, a growing nation, has a huge booming population, which is not stop, has not stopped growing. I mean, it has slowed down, but it's not stopping. At some point, it will account for 1,700,000,000 people, which will be almost 1/8 of the entire population of the Earth, right? And it's with that comes a lot of manpower, comes a booming economy. It comes, if you, especially if they're young, maybe will to do, you know. And many of them are also in other states where they become electoral part of that state. An example, the UK. India is on their tracks to become another world superpower who probably surpasses Europe in terms of GDP at some point. Again, due to the sheer size of it, which is double the population of Europe, actually triple almost the population of Europe, certainly of the European Union. And those three countries now are all together in one room, deciding for their future independent from the West. India is right in doing so because the West always treated India like it's their last. Well, first of all, they colonized it, right, with all that it comes from colonization. But after that, they never actually cared about India. Russia instead helped India in a war. And after helping in a war, they never forgot about them afterwards. And of course, this is because of mutual interests. But mutual interests at times, as you can see here, it becomes an alliance. And China is doing the same, and all of three together must be concerning for the West. It really has to be a big priority concern. Now, don't get me wrong. Putin is a despot. Xi Jinping is a despot. They are all authoritarian regimes where you don't want to live. And Modi's India is a problematic country with a lot of issues, and they will probably not get their lives better out of it, but they will have it slightly better. But the problem is not that. The problem is that those countries are angry at the West. And this is the only thing you should know. And they represent half of the world population and half of the world economy. You need to realize this could be a serious